away we go. It is the Nightcap right here on BearcatChannel.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic. Make sure you get down to Dayton, Kentucky, Wednesday through Sunday. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15%. Or hop on the app, get it delivered to your house. They will bring it to your door. And if you do that, make sure you order a bottle of Galactic sauce in the process.
We saw Shane today.
We did. It was awesome. We saw Shane. We saw Mrs. Galactic. I had a good time. Introduced him to Mike from 513 Shirts and Republic of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And maybe we got a little thing brewing there where
I mean, I can totally see them having a Galactic tie-dye that you can buy. It would have to be tie-dye, right?
Well, no, I just mean one week at the tailgate, Galactic is going to be there for anybody that swings by to give a shot.
I'm just saying, if he decided to throw a Galactic tie-dye or a Galactic shirt up, I feel like it would have to be tie-dye, right? Like if it was something that
I think that
Shane wanted to start selling in his restaurant.
Yeah. It was good to see Shane.
Yeah.
They've been very, very busy lately. He hasn't even watched this show for like 3 weeks, which he pays for this show. Like
he knows what we do.
He does. All right. Well, that was interesting. Cincinnati 28-24 winners over South Florida. I'm in a weird spot. Like I'm writing the Nightcap as you're driving back to Athens.
You don't write the Nightcap. We speak the Nightcap.
Or I'm writing the bites.
Bites.
As I wait to do the Nightcap. Sorting my thoughts on this game has been really interesting. Because I don't think, like, watching that USF team, they're not good. Like, don't get me wrong. They're not good. They do some things on offense that can make life difficult for you. Their defense is bad, but they have enough speed to, like, it's what you always know about, like, USF, right? Like, they're going to be fast to the edges. They're not going to be particularly strong at the point of attack. Just to really, like, you could tell from the opening kick, they came to play. Like,
my whole point, and what you're going to continue to see this season, same as you saw last season, Cincinnati is the reigning AAC champion right now. So you're already getting everyone's biggest swing because they're coming for the crown. B, it is Cincinnati's last season in this conference as top dog, but also you're never going to see them again.
That's what I was just going to get to.
So they're giving them their best haymaker on the way out. Everyone has the games against UCF, against Houston, and mostly against Cincinnati circled with a big, fat, red circle. These are important games to these programs to try and prove something to a team that has been on top the last season and a half and is on their way out the door. Last 2.5 seasons. 2.5 seasons.
Do you know the number? Consecutive American Athletic Conference wins?
I mean, I know that you're 30 home games in a row, so at least, obviously not at least 30 because you have other teams sprinkled in there as home games. But I would think at least 24, 25?
No.
More?
No.
No?
Well, remember that they lost to Memphis in 2019.
Oh, I'm thinking you said
AAC.
AAC?
No, AAC wins.
AAC wins?
Consecutive AAC wins.
I did forget about the Memphis game. You're right.
18. They've won 18 straight conference games.
Quite a few.
If they beat SMU after the bye, they will tie the UCF record for most consecutive conference wins. Your second point was what I was going to get to. Not only does Cincinnati have the target on their back, but this is it. Tulsa, if they play Cincinnati again, it's going to be a one-off. It's going to be a bye game, or it's going to be like
they're not scheduling
a bowl game.
Cincinnati's not scheduling Tulsa.
They're not scheduling USF.
You can play Cincinnati as a team against them, that week's rival. You can play them as dirty as you want, and there's no repercussions unless you see them in the AAC championship. You can't come back,
man.
You can't come back and be like, next year we're gonna get you. We'll show you next year. Like, give them your best shot on the way out, clean or dirty, foul or you know what I mean? Like
that was a remarkably clean game. It felt like.
I agree, and I saw
there was no trash talking. There was no
something happened at the end of one of the plays where I feel like they showboated at the student section or something. I'm not really sure what happened it was in the fourth quarter.
It was probably that first play of the fourth quarter where they scored the touchdown, right?
It was something in the backfield where they sacked Ben, where he went untouched, right up the middle.
Oh no, that was Evan. Wasn't it?
It was Evan. Yes, it was Evan. You're right. But I think they celebrated towards the students or something, and people started booing everywhere. I'm not really sure what happened. I'm
talking about the players.
Yeah, no,
I think
everything was clean. No, not like Tulsa. Tulsa right out of the gate was chippy.
Right.
And you didn't have the talking after the plays. You didn't have a bunch of the little ticky-tack stuff going on in between plays.
Well, this is USF played Florida to the wire. Should have won the game.
In a very similar fashion.
Cincinnati is now seen as on the level of a program like Florida, where you're coming into USF goes into a game against Florida. We have something to prove, right? Like,
sure. Why? What do they have to lose? They have nothing to lose except the game.
I was talking to the USF publisher for 24/7, who is from Cincinnati. It was my first time meeting him. Good dude.
Yeah, I met him too.
And he said basically like this type of win would save Jeff Scott's job.
He said it would have been a
program
changing. Yeah, those were his words. This would be maybe the biggest win in program history. Were his words. That's crazy to even we don't think of it that way. Like, we wouldn't look at South Florida beating Cincinnati as a program changing win.
But that's the level Cincinnati has elevated to.
But that's nice to know that people outside the city see Cincinnati as that, because I think we kind of lose sight of that in the moment because we're living this out in real time.
Yeah. No, definitely. All right, let's get to the three keys.
So I wanted to bring something up with this. As we're grading ourselves and holding ourselves accountable, are we holding ourselves accountable as they need to do this, and if they don't do this, we are wrong, as in they needed to do this to win? Or if they win and we said they needed to do this, we're wrong? Like, if they had done these things, would it not have been a better, bigger win?
I think that depends on whether I'm grading you or you're grading me.
Oh, okay. Here we go. All right. I said they needed to score early and often. They should cover and then some. They should have. They couldn't.
They should not have covered.
They should.
They did not play well enough to cover.
Well, I'm saying this team is good enough to have covered and then some.
I don't know that I believe that.
Well, in any case, they did not do any of that, and I was very wrong. But I stand by, they needed to score early and often, and that didn't.
Well, if Ben throws a better ball, they score on the first play of the game.
And if he throws a better ball
play of the game
to Tyler Scott later in the first half as well, rather than that was not the same play. He had Tyler
the interception.
How many interceptions did Ben have?
Just two. Just the first play, the first offensive play from scrimmage, and then at the end of the half, they threw the Hail Mary.
Then I'm confusing another play that happened. Maybe it was a PBU. I don't know. Anyway, maybe it was a replay on Twitter or something. I don't know. This game runs together. It's been a long day. I drove 5 hours, 6 hours if you count the drive around Clifton, waiting for Clifton Avenue to open up again. Ugh.
You're so grumpy.
It's a long day. My second point was reestablish the run game.
You win. We talked on Thursday night about big plays kind of skewing those numbers, this was a great day for the run game.
Chunk McClelland.
But he wasn't just Chunk.
No, but
he actually was run. Well, but what I'm talking about is there were actually like 2nd and 6s, 2nd and 5s involved today because he was getting 4 and 5 and 6 yards on those early downs, and then he was hitting the chunk plays. He was sprinkled in throughout.
21, 192. Is that right?
Pull it up right now. 21, 179.
179. Either way, great day, career day for him, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, best day of his career. And
two touchdowns.
Kiner was out.
Great day.
He had his.
God, he was so happy in his post-game presser.
Chuck?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, like that guy's been through it all, man. He tore both ACLs.
I know. He has given both knees to his program, to this program.
And he busted his ass to get back, and the door is open for him to prove that he can do it at the highest level, and he can. Like,
look, I will admit here on the show, I had said that he was not an every down back. I was wrong. Gladly
he's proving it.
He is.
He's proving it.
He is. I was worried about him getting re-injured, or
everybody else is getting injured.
You know, and I was. We've seen the change of pace back. I was wrong.
Own it. That's fine. That's what we're here to do with this show on Saturday nights. Own it. If you're wrong, that's okay.
Properly close out the game.
They did this.
They did do this.
They did this.
Under Evan Prater, they did this.
Yeah.
You have to, on that final drive, you have to just make sure you don't give South Florida another chance to go back down the field. And they got the first down. That's where we'll get into this on Monday. I was frustrated with some of the play calling at certain spots, but we'll get into that. But throughout the game, I mean, not in that final drive, but they did properly close out a game, especially one that they were behind going into the fourth quarter.
All right, here we go. Don't get caught sleeping. I mean, this has to count as a win for me, right? Like, I saw this coming. You're out of conference. You played Tulsa, physical game. We'll get to Tulsa tomorrow night. I'm sure you're going to tell me a lot about that because it was a bad night, Tulsa. Have you looked at that?
I was driving, so no.
Let me.
We don't need to
ask you a question. No, I got a question. What do you think the final score in Tulsa Navy was today?
I'm gonna say 12-14. 14-12.
Tulsa scored 21 points against Navy. How many points do you think they lost by?
I didn't know they lost. Couldn't have lost by more than 7. Navy's not piling on points like that. Navy piled on points like that.
Navy. 53.
How many offensive yards did Navy?
I don't know. I just know the final score.
We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right.
53-21.
Cincinnati sleepwalked through defensively the first quarter.
Drives. The first 2 series.
First quarter.
They 11 plays, 75 yards for a touchdown. And then Bryant throws the pick on the first offensive play. And then they go 12 plays, 65 yards. Great stand by the defense to force a field goal there. Because if you're down 14-0, you've run one play, you're down 14-0 with 3 minutes and 16 seconds left in the first quarter.
Quite a hill.
You're in a bad spot. That's a different game if they score that touchdown.
Sure.
They got caught sleeping. Like they didn't take emotionally, they didn't take USF seriously. I don't know any other way you describe that. What we saw early in that game.
I don't know.
Luke mentioned it. You're playing a 1-4 team.
It's
The
hard to get
bye is
up.
coming up.
I think that's the thing about this conference, though, is it's really hard to get up for
Yes.
some of these teams, and that's
Sure.
that's got to weigh on them at times where they're like, how do I get excited about 2-6 ECU,
Yeah.
1-5 Temple? So
yeah, for sure. I'll be back in 1 second. Balance beatdown. There was balance. It wasn't a beatdown. There was balance. I get half a point here.
It was. I mean, it was about 200 yards each, roughly.
Talk for a second. I'll be right
but
back.
there was certainly no beatdown. So I don't know that I'm even awarding you half a point for that. Just it was balanced. But I don't know. I mean, right now with don't get caught sleeping, balanced beatdown, maybe a point right now between your 2 points.
I'm giving myself a full point.
Well, you're not grading yourself. You're not grading yourself.
Oh,
yeah. You said don't get caught sleeping.
They got caught sleeping.
Yeah, so you were wrong.
Well, I was warning them not to get caught.
Yeah,
sleeping.
well, that's not what this is. This isn't called Chad's 3 key warnings.
Sometimes it's that was a warning.
All right, get to the twos. We don't even need to talk about.
They kind of did.
I mean, everyone got injured, so everyone got in.
There was a lot of twos. It's not how
Jack Dingle got his first career start.
Right. No.
You know who impressed me coming out of the twos though today?
Jacob Dingle, by the way, not Jack.
Sorry, it was Jacob. You're right.
Yeah.
You know who impressed me today, by the way?
Who?
Jaheim.
Jaheim played well today. I noticed him multiple times.
I did as well.
Coming in and making plays. So, Jaheim.
I also thought Taj and Sammy collectively played very well.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. So, I can't give myself a full point here.
It's another game, though, where you're wondering what the hell's going on with these tight ends.
Are they like Josh dropped a wide open pass that would have been a big game?
He did.
Are they open? Like that's where we don't.
We don't go back and watch the X's and O's. If I'm being honest, I know I don't. I know Dave does.
You're not going to get it unless you watch the All 22 and you get a real feel for everything that's happening. Are they open? Are they as open as the other guy that the ball gets thrown to? Like I think that's important. Because when Ben Bryant is throwing to Tyler Scott and Trey Tucker, guess what? They're usually very open.
I guess for me, my biggest concern at this point right now, as we are at through what, 5 games, 6 games?
Yeah.
5 games. My biggest concern is the fact that maybe 1 or 2 games where you don't get it to either of your tight ends, it's a concern. When you have 2 NFL tight ends, but we're running on multiple games where these guys are not producing.
But again, in the play, in the moment,
like I said,
are they the right read? If they are and they're missing them, that's one thing. If there's a better read that's more open for more yards, then the quarterback's making the right play. Like that's where I worry when and I've gone into this world with the tight ends of like, you've got to get these guys more involved. But if they're not the right read, then saying that is just being irrational.
I understand. And look, I'm not here to argue that I am oftentimes irrational.
Irrational. Would I like to see Josh and Lenny get the ball more? Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. But I'm not going to go there.
I don't want them force fed either, and I guess that's where you have to. There's a delicate dance between the two.
If everybody's like, I saw, we got to get out of here. There's a lot of people I saw that said Ben had a bad day. He's 15-21 with a couple touchdowns. Yes, he had a bad interception that. He underthrew. He made the right read. Tyler Scott was open down the field.
Even if he underthrows it to more towards the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Left side, whatever.
He allowed the defensive back to catch up and make a play on the ball. That's a bad throw. other than that, like he had a bad. Where did he have a bad day?
I don't know.
All right, let's get out of here. We'll have plenty to talk about Monday night with Ryan Royer. Ryan Royer, we saw after the game. He's like,
oh yeah,
we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
After I hugged him, that was when the whole tides changed. When I hugged him down on the field in the fourth quarter.
That wasn't a fumble.
That was. You want to say that wasn't the turning point in the quarter? Get out of here.
All right, that's it. We'll see you tomorrow. For everybody's favorite, the AAC recap.
Can't wait.
This is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!